Shalom, peace and blessings to the 12th tribe of Israel. This is the brother Arila, continuing on Genesis, the creation, picking up back in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. Start off from Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. Okay. All right, let me, before I go to the Bible, let me go to the Apocrypha. Okay, I recommend that everyone should get this book, the Apocrypha. This is part of the Bible. It was taken out of the Bible in the Council of Nicaea. Okay, so this is part of the Bible. This has Wisdom of Solomon. It has Esdras, same Esdras in the Bible. It has Esdras in this book, the continuation of Ezra. Okay, Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, which is continuation of Ecclesiastes. Okay, so I strongly advise and recommend to get this book, the Apocrypha. It means hidden books. Okay, hidden books. All right, so they took it out, but it's part of the scripture. All right, so let's go to, I'm going to read from 2nd Esdras. Okay, this is the book of Esdras, chapter 2nd Esdras, second part of Esdras, chapter 6. Chapter 6 and verse, I'm going to start off at verse 38. Excuse me. Okay. Hope you can see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, verse 38. It says here, "And I said, O Yahweh, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and sayest thou thus, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work." So that shows you that the Most High Word did the work. His word was a perfect work. So as soon as the Most High said it, it went out. You know, it started to work. Things started to happen, started to form, started to change. Okay? There's a scripture that says that. I have to find that scripture. Can't remember it off the top of my head right now. But it says something to that effect. That as soon as his word went out, it was made. I think it's in the Apocrypha too. I'll try to find it before I finish this lesson. Okay, let's continue. Verse 39. "And then was the Spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed." See? So man was not formed yet. Nothing was made yet. It was pure silence. And darkness. He said on every side. Meaning every which way you turn, there was nothing to see. Well, from man's perspective, because the Most High can see in the dark as he does in the light. Okay, matter of fact, let me get that scripture. Psalms 139 and 12. Let me get that scripture right now. Psalms 139. Psalms 139 and 12. Because the Most High doesn't really need to see. He did that for us because he knows we can't see in the dark because we're limited as men, being in the flesh. 39 and 12. Okay, here we go. Psalms 139 and 12. Right there. "Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee." That's speaking about the Most High. Okay. "Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the light shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. See? So they're both alike. There is no difference between the night and the day to the Most High, because he sees the same. Matter of fact, in the Apocrypha, what is that? Ecclesiasticus 23. Let me get that real quick. Ecclesiasticus 23. 23, verse 19. Okay, this is 18, 19, right here. See if I get it into view. Okay, there you go. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord, the Most High, okay, are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. You see, he sees everything. He sees the spirit, he sees the flesh, he sees everything. See, his eyes is 10,000 times brighter than the sun, so he doesn't need light to see. We depend on the light to see, not him. Okay, so sorry about the moving around, but I gotta try my best to let you see the verse. Okay, so we're gonna read from okay, and the same account of the creation is in Ezra, according to Ezra. I'm going to read that right now. His version of the creation in 2nd Ezra chapter 6. I'll start off, okay, I started it off already, so I'm going to go back to verse. Okay, that's why I need to show you that the Most High doesn't need the light to see. He created the light, which is the sunlight, for man. All the lights he created for man. Okay? Some are for signs, like the scripture says, some are for signs and seasons. Okay? So there you go. So chapter 6, verse, you continue at verse, I'm going to read 39 again. And then was a spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed. Verse 40. Then commandedest thou a fair light to come forth out of thy treasures. So that's when the Most High said, let there be light in the scriptures. That's in Genesis chapter 1. He says, let there be light. Okay? That was a fair light. This is the same fair light that Ezra is describing here. Okay? And that was the sun. When he says fair light, it means beautiful light. So he was thinking about Adam when he made this light. Okay? His thought was on Adam when he made this light, so that man can see and see the beautiful work that he made. Okay? Verse 41. Okay, let me continue verse 40. I'll read it again. Then commandedest thou a fair light to come forth out of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. There you go. Might appear to who? Might appear to men. Because the Most High can see it. He could create it without light, and he could see it without light. Okay? Verse 41. Upon the second day, thou madest the spirit of the firmament. See, that's when he made the spirit of the firmament. Now the firmament, the scripture is saying here, it's a spirit. Okay? He made that spirit to separate, to move apart or separate, like the scripture said, to divide the waters. The water that would be above the firmament is holding up the water that is above the firmament. See? It's holding up that water that's above. So this idea that's that's just an idea that people saying that they go out of space and they went outside of the earth is physically and literally impossible. It cannot happen. Okay? It cannot happen. You cannot pass the firmament. Nothing could pass the firmament unless the Most High open up the firmament or let it pass somehow. Okay? So this thought about people taking a ship, a piece of metal, and going out in space, which there is no space, but going out in that water, there's no way that could happen. There's no way. There's no way. Because he said that's the spirit of the firmament. The other scripture says the window, the Most High called it the window of heaven. So unless you open that window, unless the Most High opens that window, it cannot be opened. It cannot be, you can't break through, and you cannot open it. Okay, matter of fact, let me get that scripture in Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. Okay. So that's when he opened the window. There's only one time in history that was recorded that he opened the window, and that was with Noah for the flood. Okay. So I said Genesis chapter 7, right? Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. And there you go. 7 and 11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, so Noah was 600 years at this time. In the second month, okay, so that's right after Passover. Right after Passover, the next month. So we are around that time when that would be happening now, because this is what? We're in the month of May. And Passover was in April. So it's just like that. This is around when the flood was happening back in Noah's time. Okay? So that was around May. So it says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, so he was 600 years old, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, so that's probably May 17th. Okay? All right, we coming up on May 17th soon. That's what, Saturday? Right. The same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up. And I think I skipped something here. Yeah, I think I skipped something here. Give me a second. Okay, there you go. And the windows of heaven were opened. See? The windows of heaven, that's the firmament. The windows of heaven, that's the firmament. See? And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. See? So that wasn't just regular rain. That was, the windows of heaven was opened. Okay? And he let the water that was above the firmament flood the earth. See? And then the fountains of the deep were broken up, meaning the water that was under the earth came up too and flooded the earth. Okay? Okay, so let's continue. There's another scripture talk about that in the matter of fact, we might run into it. We're gonna get to that. Okay. Black, sorry about that. Let me get this camera in check. Okay. Okay.